gosh, it feels good to finally do that.
Yes, right. I'm ready for spring too. But I'm not ready for summer.
No,
No,
no, I can wait on that
I can wait,
for sure.
especially in Nebraska.
Exactly. Well, you don't know what you're going to get. You might get
True.
a 55-degree day or a 105-degree day.
Exactly. Well, so today I want to talk about the Tyson plant closing. We're doing a whole spread in our UNK school newspaper. Um,
Okay.
and I saw some Facebook posts and some stuff online that you guys had done. And so I thought that it would be a good opportunity for you guys to talk and for us to kind of showcase what you guys are doing and what's also happening in the community. So, my first question is, with the recent closure in Lexington, many families are facing a lot of job loss, movement. What have you guys seen on the ground in the days since the announcement?
I think the biggest thing for us is just the initial concerns of people caring for their households, people caring for their families, and how are we going to do this? But I think through that, we've been able to see a great deal of strength from our community, either coming together to build resources or build awareness. But then also just the large commitment to our community. I
Hmm.
think being able to want to stay in our community and so doing what they can to find jobs locally if they can, but being able to commute if they can't. And so many people say we want to stay in Lexington. This is our
Hmm.
home. And so that was really kind of the big initial feeling that was felt.
Definitely. I know I've done like quite a bit of research and even seeing like social media posts and stuff about it, and everybody, I mean, just greatly praises Lexington and like I think that was part of the sadness was the possibility of having to leave that community and great community and stuff, especially for like children and like stuff like that. So yeah, definitely. And then for readers who might not be super familiar, can you briefly explain the role the Lexington Community Foundation plays in supporting the local residents?
You bet. So, with the Lexington Community Foundation, we are not able to grant directly to individuals, but we work with our local community agencies that work directly with individuals.
Mm.
So, initially, we created a community relief fund that allowed us to support key areas within the community that households needed. So, food. Utilities, rent expenses, those types of things. And then we were able to identify the agencies that facilitated that type of assistance. And so through that initial effort, which was just a little over a month, we distributed just under $450,000
Wow.
to back into the community just for those specific needs. And then from there, we were able to grant out some additional funding from private donors. The great thing about this community relief effort through the foundation is that all these donations were private donations, so they could be used directly for um, this purpose.
Right, yeah. Has it helped because I know at least here in Nebraska, it's pretty popular news that this Tyson plant closed down and I mean over the past I mean was it November when they we found out or December? Um I've heard plenty of people talking about it. Has it helped having kind of Nebraska behind you or along with like Lexington community? Has that helped with being able to give back to the community?
Oh, for sure. I think the publicity of everything, but then just knowing that we live in a state that gives back,
Hmm.
whether it's to this, even just here within the last few weeks with the wildfires,
Yeah.
um, the Nebraska community has just always been one of giving back and making sure that our entire state's taken care of, and we
Hmm.
felt that day one.
Good.
As a matter of Monday after the Tyson plant closure news, I mean, our phones were just ringing off the hook saying, "How can we help?" And so that was a really great feeling being
Good.
able to um, be kind of stewards of those donations to be able to give back.
Right, yeah. And I think the greatest thing too is you guys have the knowledge to be able to know where to give it and stuff like that. Does a lot of research go into kind of where to give back that money, or do people reach out to you guys, or is it kind of a mix of both?
It really is a unique blend of both. I think through the Lexington Community Foundation, we're pretty well established with our Giving Day, our Give Big Lexington Day.
Hmm.
So a lot of people said, "Okay, gosh, you just finished this, but can we use this platform to further assist?" And that's exactly what we did. Initially, we opened up our platform, and then they said, "Okay, but we want to give to this specific need." So really, we really kind of took on that initial challenge to be able to gather the funds all in one location for this specific purpose
Hmm.
to assist those families and households in need.
Hmm.
Um, but but yeah, and then the research behind it really is more of the networking that we've been able to build within the state of Nebraska, our nationwide partners, different things like that, to be able to leverage those private donations just
Hmm.
that much further.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. I'm sure like a lot goes into where to choose where everything goes, but that is amazing that you guys were able to raise, what'd you say, 450,000? That's
Yes, well,
amazing.
yeah, and we just recently awarded just right around $182,000 further to support local agencies,
Oh,
just
wow.
wanting to make sure whatever private donations were given could be given back as quickly as possible
Right,
to the
yeah.
areas in need.
Yeah, that's definitely like so amazing. That's super cool. Um, Without sharing like any private details or anything, can you describe a typical situation you're seeing from families that are impacted by this job or by this job loss?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, especially with families with uh, with children in schools or even young children, I think the biggest thing we're seeing really is making sure they can get food on the table and making sure they have a warm place to stay at night.
Hmm.
So I think the biggest insecurities right now that we're hearing about are really those rent expenses and just being able to provide for their families. It- the where we're kind of at right now is they've maybe received some additional or some initial funding, some initial um, support. But now, gosh, I'm a month or two out of a job, and I'm still
Hmm.
trying to find a job. How can I? Where can I go now?
Right.
And so, wanting to make sure they can be supported in whatever way possible.
Hmm. Have you received any help from like the Tyson Corporation or anything, or like information that kind of helps you guys, or was it kind of just cut off after?
I think the big thing we, received from Tyson, they have tried to create very open lines of communication. I
Hmm.
do also feel that they've tried to market their other plants,
Hmm.
if people are available to commute or even to possibly relocate. So I think there's those things that we look to as the positives
Hmm.
with the Tyson Corporation.
Right, right. Yeah, I have you had people commuting to like Grand Island and stuff? I know that's quite a long ways away, but I
Yeah,
live in
so
Grand Island, so
there's quite a few people commuting from, or I should say, to Grand Island, to North Platte. We've heard of Gibbon and Kearney. And the great thing is right now they're offering through the Department of Transportation and some local businesses is they're offering some free transportation,
I did see
which
that.
is
Mhm.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great that the community could come together. And I was even reading the comments on those. And it was just
Mhm.
great to see like, oh, I can drive, you know? So it was really cool to see like you said, the community coming together because they want these people to stay. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. What do you think has been the most emotional impact on the community as kind of time goes on? Do you think people are feeling more grounded, more like better about the situation, like we said, because it was announced in November? Do you think there is still quite a bit of work to be done?
I think There's still a feeling of being unsettled just because we don't know what's happening to a very significant building within our and business within our community. And so, it's very hard to drive through Lexington and not see the Tyson plant. And so I think for that to be something that people drive by and have on their mind nearly daily, I think that's a huge weight.
Hmm.
I think right now that unsettled feeling is now, okay, how do we pivot and make sure that with or without Tyson, how can we still proceed forward and how can we help our non or more of our small business sector thrive and
Hmm.
continue to move forward.
Hmm.
Also, while still balancing, making sure we can keep the individuals that were affected supported, but
Yeah,
really
definitely.
shifting to, what's going to happen as a trickle effect of this closure and making sure that we're still taking care of our entire community.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know like this closure affects almost everybody, like schools. I know we have some people on the newspaper talking to schools, talking to local businesses. So it is such a big thing that affects so many people. And like you said, I bet it's so hard to balance it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Um, and then last question. The Tyson plant has always been a major employer in Lexington. What are the most urgent needs you are seeing from individuals and families? Whether that's from job loss or even just local businesses, like you said, anybody that's affected.
Yeah, I think it goes back to those basic needs, making sure that they can pay their rent and making sure their utilities are kept on. And then just getting the resources out to people with our monthly food banks. But on top of the monthly food banks that we offer, our community agencies offer, also being able to get by off through those food banks. Gosh, I
Mhm.
can only get food once a month. So what can I do in the meantime? And so just making sure that we're supporting our people as best as possible right now.
Mhm. Definitely, definitely. Is there anything else that you want the readers to know about the Lexington Foundation or the situation or anything?
Yeah, I think you've asked some really great questions. So I don't think there's much more. The Lexington Foundation just continues to support not our main mission is to really inspire generosity in our community. I feel like now more than ever that has happened. But then just moving forward, making sure our community as a whole can stay strong and stay hopeful that there's going to be that next phase of our community, and hopefully it's bigger and stronger than ever before.
Yes, definitely. I'm so glad that I can like talk to you about how the community showed out. I'm just
Yeah,
like so amazed by that. And like you said, like it's just Nebraska, we see that.
you bet.
And I think it's just great. Yeah, definitely. Well,
Awesome.
thank you so much for talking to me. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you have a good day.
Yes, thanks, Noelle. Thanks so
Thank
much for
you.
doing this for us.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
thank you.
Bye-bye.